What's going on, everybody? It's the Indoor Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about how in the world I restarted my account 5 days ago, and not only do I have a red deer grind set up in Tarawa, fully equipped with tents, tripods, but I also have like $300,000 in the bank, and I just keep making more. And before we get any further, I would like to caveat that this strategy is definitely an advanced strategy, and I do not recommend it for players just starting out. If you're one of those that are just starting out playing Call of the Wild and you need to know how to make money, some of this may apply to you. The idea behind it can work, but the process is just not simply possible for you, unfortunately. Definitely pay attention though, because some of these tips may help you out. So what's the secret? What did I do? It's not really a secret. It's pretty common strategy, honestly. I just capitalized it and tried to make it so efficient that I don't even think twice about it, and that's kind of where we're at now. So essentially what we've done is set up a red deer great one grind. It's killing two birds with one stone. For those of you, and let me back up before we get crazy here. For those of you that don't know, we took the main account that had 7 years of experience, money, and everything else on it, completely started from scratch, brand new day one, but we got some things that are helping us out. Sure, we don't have perks. We don't have a lot of money, at least at the beginning. But what we did have was all the DLC weapons, all the DLC maps, tents, stuff like that. And the game gives you 4 of each of those for free. So immediately you have 4 tents, which equates to roughly, unless you really wanted to walk it, roughly 2 zones, or you could have 4 zones set up on, and you're just shooting the crap out of red deer. Male, female, doesn't matter. You're just wiping them, right? Now, I hear you herd managers out there that kind of prickles your neck a little bit, but if you're desperate times, call for desperate measures here. And if you're really hurting for money, this is a very fast and efficient way to make it, and that's what this video is all about. And honestly, this is why I say that this strategy isn't good for new players, because if you just got the game or you just started playing it, you probably don't have any of the DLCs. That said, I can't recommend it enough because it makes life so much easier. None of the weaponry is behind any sort of level lock. The ammunition is not behind any sort of score lock. It's right there. It's available to you. As soon as you have it, you can buy it. And that's exactly what I did. The first thing that I got was the 300 and about 30 rounds of ammunition, and I went to town. Not only did I turn that cash tenfold, it allowed me to buy more tents, and essentially that's what I did. Every time I got about $16,000, I would just buy a tent and then throw it down. And I was shooting so many red deer, I had a full map of 16 tents in no time. Again, another caveat, your mileage may vary. Maybe I got super lucky with my map and I just have an insane amount of red deer, but in theory, most maps, all of your herds are going to be crazy. You're going to be able to capitalize. Male, female, don't discriminate. And I hear you herd managers out there cringing now. I get it. You don't want to screw that up. But again, if you're hurting for money, the money's more important than a great one. You can always go back to doing that once you have enough to get stuff flowing. Another really good species to try this on, now I haven't personally, but I've thought about it, is lions, because they're still broken. When you shoot those things, they don't go anywhere. They just stand there. And they're worth a lot of money. You'll get full value from shooting them with that 300. Obviously, if you don't have the 300, just use your weapon of choice. Again, this is why I don't recommend new players using the strategy, because you don't have access to those DLC weapons. The single shot 7mm isn't going to do you any good, unfortunately, in this scenario. Now, it will work. It'll be just much, much slower. So, if you're starting out and you need money, I don't know. I don't recommend going out of your way to do this, because you need to learn how to play the game, if that makes sense. Speaking on that, though, one thing that I don't recommend you do, and I know everybody's tempted, because I was tempted, and then I realized, like, this is not working out. Grinding crocodiles. It seems like it makes sense. They're worth an insane amount of money and XP. Again, XP is not that big of a deal if you're not like me and didn't reset your game. Let's say, and I've been there, if you're level 60 and you don't have any money, it can seem very tempting to just go shoot a bunch of crocs. And for a quick cash, yeah, it's great. You can shoot 5 or 6 crocodiles and make a lot of money. But if you're wanting to make a lot of money, and I'm talking, hundreds of thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands. If you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, you want a animal species that's going to be grouped up and really easy to find. Crocodiles, they're easy to find, but The second the shooting starts, those things are in the water, and then you got to like walk, you know, 10 minutes down the beach or wherever you're hunting them at, and it's not efficient. It's not a very clean way to do it. With the reds, I'm probably going to say it several times in this video, they're just so convenient. You know, they're in there in groups of, you know, sometimes 20, and they're just standing there waiting to be shot. And I don't know if you guys have the same experience as I have, because I've grinded now for nearly 20,000 kills on red deer, and 9 times out of 10, man, I'm piling up 4 or 5 bodies at a time if I'm doing good, and accuracy's on point. And you can do this, you know, with the males and females. The females are worth a ton of money. I definitely wouldn't recommend trying this on whitetail, just because they are a large herd group animal, but they're not worth any money, which is kind of disappointing. I wish whitetail were worth just a little bit more, but they're not. And so ammo is going to become an issue if you start grinding whitetail. With the red deer or a similar species like sandbar, sandbar. And again, I'll say this, if red deer isn't your thing, there are other species that are comparable in the money that you get from them that you can do very, very similar things, like sandbar over on Emerald Coast, Rocky Mountain elk. You could probably do the same thing with bears are another good one that you can grind that are worth a lot of money. And really the key to the animal that you're grinding for money is if one animal that you shoot with one bullet is enough, it gives you enough money to buy 10 more rounds of whatever gun you're using, you're going to be making money constantly. Now, if you're shooting something, for example, let's say you're like, oh man, screw that, I'm going to go shoot a herd of buffalo. You're only making $800 a pop. You know, sometimes there's a few in there that are worth a lot, but $800 to $900, you're not paying for ammunition. You're actually costing yourself money by grinding buffalo. So if you're trying to make money, it's fun, not the most valuable. And if you're in a position like I've been so many times where you're just out of money, but you have the stuff that you need to set up a grind. And again, this isn't a grind for great ones. This is a grind for money. So that's why the species doesn't really matter. I just chose red deer because, well, I want a great one red deer and they are worth a ton of money. Again, I said I would mention this several times. They're just easy because they're everywhere. Everywhere you look, you know, with the map that has red deer, you're going to find red deer. And so it just makes it a lot simpler, but I digress. If you've already got the amount of tents to set up for, you know, like a red deer grind or just a grind in general, if you have 16 tents, you are golden. You are ready just to go set up. And what's nice about a money grind versus a great one grind, you don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, if your setup's good enough or what kind you're shooting and stuff. Like, you're shooting them all. If it's got fur and 4 legs, you're shooting it. And in theory, when you do this, at least this has been my experience, and this is how I've just been able to make an insane amount of money so fast, is just you run through those zones. It's a little slow at start, I'll admit. You know, you may start doing this and you're like, man, I don't know, it's taking forever. But once you get those tents and that layout going, man, you're going to be piling up cash, because I know I am. You know, if I shoot 4 red deer at every herd, you know, that's like $5,000. If I can shoot 20 or 30 herds, however much money that is, you guys do the math, you know, in less than 10 minutes every run through, I'm making tens of thousands of dollars. All profit. The only cost that I'm doing is every once in a while buying a little bit more ammo, and honestly, I'm at the point now ammunition is no longer a concern to me. Time changes actually eat into my cost more than anything, but even that, I'm at a point now where that has no bearing on finances whatsoever. It's just a really convenient and easy way to make money. And again, if you're trying to do it fast and efficient, don't recommend Crocs. I don't recommend like the common sense one that makes sense to you, like, oh, I'm gonna go shoot crocodiles because they're worth a lot of money. I'm gonna go shoot buffalo because they're worth money. Yes, they're worth more than red deer, but they're not as easy just to farm, essentially. But before we end this, I will say, for those of you that are new and if you're stuck out and hung around this long and you're still here watching, if you're starting out playing the game, and again, we're going to make a video eventually for you guys just starting out on how to make money a little bit easier, stick to your missions. stick to doing that stuff. You know, level 60 players, you don't have the option to do missions again, unfortunately, so that's not a good revenue source anyway. And honestly, you know, if it takes 20 minutes to do a mission, you know, I could have made $20,000 in that time for that $1,200 mission, you know. But you actually, those animals that I said don't shoot, those are the ones you want to shoot. So if you're starting out and if you're new to the game, you've not been level 60 yet, you want to shoot crocs, you want to shoot buffaloes, because those are worth a lot of money, and the timing of it isn't exactly, you're not in a rush, I should say. I feel like if you're like, well, not me anymore, we're getting there, that level 60 mentality, if you're in the end game of the Hunter Call of the Wild, you're trying to get trophies and all that stuff, and you need money for ammo and taxidermying and all that, by far the most efficient way is red deer, in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below your favorite way of making money. I'll see you guys on the next one.